Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition D&D campaign. I'm Joe Treff, the Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me are my friends Matt, Tina, Anna, and Alana. I almost had it. It wasn't you. It was her.
It's all Matt's fault.
Thanks, Anna.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we are going to play some D&D at some point, but before we do that, a couple of announcements. Last night we played Mosaic Team 5, session 19, right? 19. Which was, it ended very differently than I thought.
We didn't die.
No, Kara didn't end the campaign by killing you all with a spaceship. But it was a really great session. If you like sci-fi, if you like Westerns, definitely check out Mosaic Team 5, live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, replays on Twitch the Sunday after at noon. Next week, we will not be having our next session of Adventures in Alberon. We will instead be playing a one-shot. This is a horror-themed one-shot with some Lovecraftian overtones, and it is going to be run by Kara, who plays in Mosaic Team 5. So that's next week on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on twitch.tv/AlberonRPG. We also have a website, alberonrpg.com. Our social media handles are @AlberonRPG. That is all of our stuff. Finally, for music, sound effects, things of that nature, we use Sirenscape, which is a digital tool set that you can use to add all kinds of music and things to your life. Here's what is called sweeping emotional music.
Not a sponsor. Yet.
Oh,
I
also,
keep
yeah.
saying that, and eventually they'll see it.
Eventually they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, let's
Our very
help these
first
guys out.
sponsor.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? That would be great. Just not having to... anyways, it's neither here nor there. Sirenscape is a digital tool set. You can use it to play music and sound effects.
At Sirenscape.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think it is. Anyways,
gotta add.
with that, I can get us into our recap. Give me just one moment. And thank you to Arcane Anthems for our theme as well. All right. Fate Changers. Last we played, you fought and handily vanquished a Stoneflow Titan. With your new weapons... Wait, hang on one second. Did that really happen last session?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was the first thing that happened.
Wow.
Yeah,
Missing 1 week feels like so long.
A lot happened last session.
Okay.
A lot has
Fate
happened.
Changers. Last that we played, now confirmed. You fought and handily vanquished a Stoneflow Titan, this massive being of steel powered by steam. You maintained, or at least obtained, some new weapons from Corbin Cordhart. These firearms of an advanced nature, though you did not secure ammunition for said firearms. You made your way through the steel-spun corridor, a safe house of sorts for the Circle of Silence that is a enigmatic criminal organization of sorts. As you made your way through, Oakfeld had found a symbol that had been shown to him by Melora. You were stopped briefly by the caretaker of this place, but Akka, you handed over a token that, at the moment, was unbeknownst to you, a favor that you could cash in. This individual allowed Oakfeld in, and there Oakfeld claimed an artifact of Melora's, the Staff of the Wilds. Once again, Oakfeld was connected to nature in a meaningful way that he had not felt since the Feywild. Akka, you felt much different feelings. Frustration, anger, and others. But you progressed further and into the Underdark, and proceeded in the direction of Gomdjarin, your home, Brenna. Days behind your quarry, you checked into an independent Steeder rancher at the Facebreaker Ranch and learned that they had summoned the Grey Lady in response to a number of Steeders having been stolen. As this conversation unfolded, Oakfeld used his newfound powers to communicate with all of the Steeders, summoning the spiders down and introducing each of you to an appropriate match. Oakfeld himself taking this gray Steeder named Frank Akka, you riding the white race car stripes. Massive spider called Esperel. Eleanor, you with Ethel, the black spider with a almost skull-like marking of white fur across the face. Other Steeders for you, Shay and Brenna, that you will not introduce by name. But with the support of Oakfeld, you were all able to take these Steeders, and as you turned to leave, found that the corridor had changed beyond. Akka, to you, a very familiar figure, and one that you had tried to avoid for some time. But baby Edward, the sort of standard bearer of the Grey Lady, if you will. A small, infant-looking creature, although those with better vision may be able to see beyond that. But he beckoned you forth, and you followed him through these shadowy and shifty halls. You entered the domain of the Grey Lady, a deep singer that you had last met on your trip to the Cold Forge, a powerful entity, one that, in times past, had conflicted with Zystris and survived. There, in a dark and gloomy, almost mansion-like space, Akka, you made a deal, finally. The Grey Lady, known for making contracts and finding ways to improve her power and expand her domain, wanted but to see just a single memory in your head. As she shifted through your mind, the memory that stopped upon was that of a conversation with Mr. Gift. And as you heard Glub's voice in the background, the Grey Lady spoke. Got him. You were all transferred to the edge of the Grey Lady's domain. And as you step out, that is where we are going to begin this evening.
Akka's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
In a very long, in a lifetime of bad days.
That one was pretty bad.
This is really ranking up here.
Just because it started out so high for him and it just immediately crashed.
Yeah.
Disappointment is immeasurable.
Have those eyes to really experience the lows.
Very Buddhist of Akka. He learned that from the Goliath of Mondrag.
Yeah.
All right. So, the air here smells of salt, stale smoke, and scorched ozone. Some of those smells familiar to you, Brenna, but they are cold and still. And there is a slight wind that is blowing in from the west, from where the dark salt expanse, and all of you can see it from here, comes through this almost filtered area of tiny stone caverns from the main expanse and into this relatively safe bay, at least at normal times. The hills here roll out across a massive cavern in the Underdark, simulating almost a hillside or a series of hillsides. And here and there you can see, though many in disarray with a tremendous amount of damage, these almost cylindrical gnome structures. These buildings are smaller than many of you are used to, but some have clearly been built to accommodate larger folk as well. Not all. Many of these have extensions on them that have second and third stories and raised dome-like towers. Many of those have porches up near the top. You can see already, though it is very dark in this space, for those of you with dark vision, even out to 60 feet, you can see shapes on the ground, huddled, not moving, except for in this very still, almost sputtering breeze that comes across. Brenna, for you, this is home, but it's very different than you remember it. Looking out across what is almost a silent space, you see the rise and falls of the hills that form the main terrain of the salt-laden lands of Gomdjarin. And across all of that to the north, the massive structure known as the Abattoir of Salt. Abattoir of Salt? I don't know how to pronounce that word.
We looked it up, it's abattoir. We were talking about it while you were up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the
Abattoir of
abattoir.
Salt.
My aunt used to go to the abattoir down to watch the cattle coming in from the cattle road.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So,
Old people. They're a trove of knowledge.
the Abattoir of Salt. This descends like an earthen cyclone from the ceiling till it touches the ground on the northern side of the town. You see a 10-foot wide set of stairs that twists up the funnel of this twister-like object until it reaches a recessed semicircle looking porch. Go ahead and make perception checks, all of you.
I have advantage because of my 120 feet of dark vision.
Nope. All right.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
27.
27.
9.
18.
18. Okay. So as you step out into this space, very narrow is the entrance. Shay, Akka, Eleanor, you all sort of stand in the entryway, and Brenna, it's tough to see around your taller friends. But you look across this desolated town. As your eyes adjust to this gloom, you can see dotting the landscape many corpses, small, mostly gnomish. For the two of you, Akka and Eleanor, you see this large stone temple that rises up from floor to ceiling. You see the bay, you see these ruined structures and many small streets. But Shay, for you, as you look across this expanse, very far, almost incalculable at this distance, because the buildings are so small, at this distance, it's hard to really determine scale. You see on the steps movement. And as you focus, seeing just little glows from perhaps torches or lanterns, you see large, many-legged shapes carrying smaller ones up these steps. You have certainly caught up, but you watch as they ascend into the Abattoir of Salt.
Relay this.
Sure. We still have our Steeders.
You do?
Okay. Akka's like, I gotta warn Mr. Gift and them. I'm pulling out the sending stone. Yeah,
Sure.
You know. But I'm fucking freaking out right now. Freaking out.
Roll a D100.
Jeez. Oh, jeez.
The first of many freakouts of the evening, I'm sure.
You already made an Arcana check about the nature of magic here.
I sure did.
Unfortunately, Brenna doesn't really remember a lot about it, so...
38.
Okay. You take out the sending stone, you hold a very familiar warm stone in your hand, and as you key the rune that should activate it, nothing happens. As it occurs, the smell of salt from the ocean beyond almost intensifies and then fades.
The faster we get this done, Akka, the faster you can warn them. We have caught up.
All right. What's the plan?
Well, they're going into that. So outside of following them, I don't really...
Yeah, that's like really the only place here in town that is worth going to. Let's go. And Brenna just like strides off towards it.
Sure.
Not looking at any of the bodies pointedly.
Okay. Everybody following?
Yeah.
Did I put your little ship right here?
It's
right now.
Okay. Could you guys put yourself in marching order?
Deliver
The
everyone.
other little ship.
The other ship that you guys
The
could have potentially
medium
had
ship.
this campaign was much larger, I'll tell you that.
Was...
But you crashed it into the ground before ever seeing it. All 3 pages of the rules gone.
For the record, not we.
Anyhow. Well, close up here. Oh, you can't really see the murder corner. Close up because I zoomed in,
just
but
assumed.
no worries. So,
Does this seem...
Brenna, you begin to lead. You have Shay behind.
Gonna be pulling out all the books that I just got from the Goliaths and myself taking all those books, I'm like, all right, gotta go to war against the fucking Gray Lady now. I gotta see, is there anything on her that I can use in any of these books, or anything that I could use against her?
Make a perception check. So taking some time to like sit down, you
Well,
could make a.
while we're, I'm just letting the Steeder follow them, and
Okay.
I'm like,
Hang on to that for a second then, not to worry. So you begin to move on your Steeders, I would imagine most of you. You hear behind you as you move Oakfeld just murmuring every now and then to his. For what it's worth, his especially does seem to move in a much more clean and organized manner. But you progress on through these streets. It is dark here, and those of you without dark vision find that it feels as if these shadows close around you. The hills here and the structures built as they are do form very claustrophobic spaces. For Yushe especially, this is an unpleasant feeling, already being underground. As you move, every time the wind blows, small pebbles shift from the ruins, and you find it hard not to move and look. It feels like, in ways, the city is breathing, which, considering the corpses that you walk beyond, it is a little bit unnerving. You were leading this, so go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage as you're pointedly not examining things. Howdy, talent?
16.
16. That's
Sorry.
good.
14, sorry.
Okay. For a disadvantage, not bad.
I got a 7 and a 9.
Nice. So, up front, as you keep lookout here, trying not to look too closely at the huddled bundles that dot the street. Where are you trying to travel through? You see this structure and you have a rough idea of the city. Are there any criteria as to how you are picking your way through?
I think if there's a place along the way that Brenna thinks would be worth stopping at because there are supplies there or some sort of items that might be helpful,
Make a perception
she
check.
might try to swing by that. So let's see. Oh, sorry, I just not with
Just a
disadvantage.
regular perception check, yeah. This is you looking at the buildings here.
Natural 1 for a total of 8.
Nice.
Not rolling well tonight.
As you begin to round a corner, cross an intersection that you're not terribly familiar with, but you've been through, you try to avoid looking at the ground and look only through the windows, looking for things that are intact. The very first window that you come across, as you open it, there is just pressed against the glass a decaying sort of peeling flesh and bone from a face. You look away and have trouble examining other windows. For the rest of you, are you doing anything as you cross this town?
Just reading as much as I can, try and find something.
Okay.
Remembering that
Yes.
we're going against a lich, I'm going to start scanning the bodies for any movement where there shouldn't be.
Make a perception check, yeah.
Natural 1 for a total of 6.
You gaze across these small bundles as you do, and you too have trouble looking at them. As a human, these small corpses especially, very unsettling for you. You remind yourself that they're gnomes, but you do find yourself looking away more than looking at. Hard to tell. Anybody else?
And also looking for movement and activity.
Make a perception check.
One of us must
Perception
succeed.
monk.
Someone's got eyeballs.
The only one of us with special eyes is
23.
23. You scan the bodies, and you do notice a few things. First of all, there are categories of injuries here. You're seeing certainly, and being a monk and having been exposed to weapons and weapon fighting, signs of just material physical weapons wielded with pretty good amount of force. But every now and then, you come across a corpse, if you could call it that, that's mystifying. The first one that is a little bit odd, As you move, at first, it's almost like this charred piece of furniture, but you realize it's as if a massive pair of hands have taken this individual and crushed it. You see a foot at a very strange angle jutting out of the top, elements of maybe a jaw below. Very unsettling. The next one that you come across is even different.
What happened here?
You see, kind of looking up, impaled across something on one of the roofs, a jagged bit of construction, another corpse, almost impossibly high, given the stature of these inhabitants. From this, what you are sort of beginning to figure out is that there is a very peculiar kind of magic here. Something that seems to influence the forces of physics themselves. But you continue to move. And one of the things that you do note is that the corpses do seem relatively still. There are those that have exposed bits of bone, but also you notice many that still have large swaths of flesh left. With that roll, as you get about halfway through, you do come to a place where you're noticing, though, at first you think just the wind blowing in off the dark salt expanse. But after a second, the slight element of pebbles falling doesn't stop. And you realize not stone, but maybe rattling of some kind. And you look down and you can see one of these little bundles every now and then sort of twitch and flinch.
Kind of steer the Steeder over and have it stomp on it a couple of times.
Okay. So all of you walking through this very quiet space, suddenly you hear as this Steeder moves to the left and then shatters this corpse. Immediately, again, and it kind of crumbles apart. You see this hand roll to the middle of the street, tiny little bricks that are forming it. And as it falls and rolls, you can see some of the bones, even as they come apart, like twitch, almost like jumping beans, essentially, as they bounce across the pavement. They do scatter in a relatively random way, probably not reassembling themselves, so they're hard to tell. This is certainly not a natural occurrence. Brenna, for you in particular, there is something very odd. Even without Shay telling you, you begin to feel this danger sense in the back of your mind beginning to kick up. There's something very familiar about this place and about this feeling that you have. Nostalgia isn't quite the right word, but there is certainly fear behind it.
What? Fearstalgia. I'm gonna stop moving for a minute and just kind of, and even though I don't want to, I'm just gonna like look around, see if I notice any like particular details.
Make a flat out perception check.
Don't roll 2 dice this time. 16.
Okay. With a 16 and being familiar with this place, although as you look at it, it's truly a shadow of what it was. I mean, there are walls and ceilings crumbling in. Well, I'll get you some visual perspective.
It's always nerve-wracking when a map is ready.
He's just been waiting.
I've never not had the map ready. Actually, 3 times ever in this campaign.
Yeah.
I do 4 to 6 a week.
4 to 6 maps a week.
Yeah. Although this one.
That's a big one. Oh boy.
My hand's too small. Only grabbed us.
Or,
Oh boy. There's a big one.
Whoa. Oh, look at all these corpses you drew.
yeah, I feel like it gave me carpal tunnel. It really was quite a bit.
Where are we dropping here?
So you are all entering. You
Who's the
can
jump
enter
master?
from the. You see that little road? Yep, right there.
We're all on our Steeders.
Yes, all of you are on your Steeders. I don't have like 8.
Where are the
large spider
fucking
miniatures.
Steeder minis?
I think I
Immersion
have, like,
broken.
one. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. So, what you do see around you, these structures, many 2 to 3 stories tall. Most of the taller elements are these almost circular towers that rise up. Some of them a little bit more angular, sort of hexagon shaped. Here and there in the streets and off to the sides, there are these salt crystals that are formed. The culture of Gomdjarin, you try to cultivate them in certain ways. So having like certain formations is kind of unsightly. It's like a lawn. So certain formations of it, very unsightly, but like very small alterations. Oh my God, what art, you know? Things like that. There are people that care about it, really care about it. And there's other people that don't care at
I
all.
would fucking love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. These structures here are mostly made of this natural sort of occurring, I think somebody found out it was andesite or andersonite or whatever it was, but it's this gray mottled stone that seems to have been pulled from the space and then used in construction. You can feel the sort of warm breeze coming from somewhere to the west. And you hear now, certainly a little bit louder, rattling. And for all of you, you turn. And Shay, with your perception checks thus far, you are the person that sees that straight ahead seems to be where they are rattling the most. What are you all doing? Brenna, your danger sense is certainly on high alert.
I pull out my axe, and I'm pretty ready to do some murdering,
Okay.
given all of this. So I'm gonna get down off my Steeder and just walk forward. Actually, I'm gonna go into a rage, and I'm gonna walk forward until I see something move that I can kill.
Okay. Going into a rage. Here, take this little ring.
I'm glad I'm in the back.
Ring of rage.
So, on a normal round, you would move about like 60 feet. As you approach, maybe like 20 feet in front of you, there is a huge spider corpse, a Steeder, and its size and build similar to the ones that you all have. You actually see all of your mounts begin to kind of move against your will or any kind of direction that you're giving to the right side of the street, trying to bypass as far as they can. Some of their legs actually moving up along the walls and kind of like moving at an angle. But Brenna, as you get about parallel with this, you can see there's a corpse that is sort of almost bent over, prostate in front of prostate. Oh God, it's been a week. I can't even remember the word I'm trying to say anymore.
Lying down.
Lying down in front of you, really kneeling. Look like they have had some kind of injury to their back. But suddenly you see the rattling and you hear the rattling stop. That is when you see this skull with elements of a mohawk still left in it snap up. And you can see of this skeleton
body
right
line?
there. No, much further. The one kneeling over there, yeah. That guy right there. And I need all of you to roll initiative. Brenna, you do not need to roll. You'll be going first, as you are in a rage and you are sort of way ahead of this group.
Hell yeah.
Give me one moment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm so glad for us.
Nice. What'd you get?
Solid.
So, could you place this?
It's fitting. I will say.
What, because you're paying such close attention to your surroundings?
Yeah.
Like,
Always
it's just
ready.
waiting. Yeah.
Heads on a swivel.
but instead it's just going.
No, it's going fucking.
God.
Phenomenal. All right, one moment here.
I like that Akta seems to have forgotten for now that he's in real danger of being eaten by Brenna.
He's just like so overwhelmed at this point. He's just like completely burned out on like trying to do.
Crises at once.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so anybody natural 20?
Natural song.
That's unfortunate. 25 to 20?
25.
23 is 25, 25. So we got Eleanor, Shay. Do we have anybody 20 to 15?
Forgot to roll for my effect.
Akka, where are you sitting at?
I'm sitting at the bottom. Little 5.
Oh, you certainly are.
91.
All right, so the way that this shakes out, we're going to start with Brenna, then Eleanor, then Shay, then whatever this skeletal entity is will take its turn. And then, some moments will pass, and then Akka, you will go. So,
right.
Brenna, in front of you, the head snaps up, and as the eyes and face begins to turn towards you, you can see the jaw hang open at this angle, and it just looks around at you, the head snapping a little bit farther than it should. It climbs to its feet, almost defying gravity as it does, not climbing up, but really being lifted, and then settles on the stones. What would you like to do?
All right, so when I went into a rage, you all witnessed shadowy tendrils lashing around me. And I gain 1d12 hit points. That's fun. 8. There's like an attack situation that happens, but I raged and then I moved forward, so
gotcha.
up to you whether...
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Okay. All right, so the skeleton needs to make a Constitution saving throw, DC 17.
DC 17. How about a 10?
So he takes 1d12 necrotic damage, which I'm just... That's 1 necrotic damage.
So unfortunately, that is 0 damage.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to take hold as you might wish.
That's all right. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna move up to him and just whack him.
Do it.
This one moving thing is like the only thing I have to take out my rage on. Oy. 18 to hit.
That hits.
Nice. For 14 damage.
14, yeah. Nice.
And then I'm gonna hit him again. 32 to hit, I think.
32 hits.
Another, 13 damage.
13 damage. Nice.
Those were some terrible damage rolls.
As you step forward, you see this thing and you get angry. Looking at the destruction of your home around you, as unfavorable as it was still your home. And you do have connections to this place. You rush forwards, these tendrils around you. You take this massive axe and you hear in the back of your mind, "Yes, Brenna!" You hit it once and you cleave the entire chest in half. Man, that voice. The bone peels apart, splintering, with the spine seeming to pop out. What are you counting?
Squares.
You see the bone parts shoot out, almost like fragmentation, and still peeled in half. This creature stands, but barely. That was a tremendous amount of damage for it. However, that is your turn.
That is my turn.
That brings us to Eleanor. Eleanor, you see in front of you Brenna stride forward and split this thing in half. What do you want to do?
Okay, so seeing that she probably has that handled, Eleanor's gonna hop off the spider because it still makes her deeply uncomfortable.
You're like, yes.
I got an excuse. And I'm gonna go this way to see if I can spot any other threats.
Sure.
So that's fine. Which should be about here. I think that's like fine. Yes. And see if I can spot anything.
Okay, as an action, make a perception check.
So that's a 19.
19. You run to the left, seeing Brenna almost destroy this creature in one strike. You move over to this other street, seeing now the source of that saltwater smell. Steam is coming out of this building. You can see almost like a lake within. Seems to be like a naturally fed spring, but it seems very salty. You see in the area down by that last building on the street, there are a couple of bodies around the corner that are kind of laying almost in the doorway of the building, and you do see shifting and moving. As you look at the ones immediately around you, they don't seem to be.
Okay. All right. More to Brenna's left. And then I guess I will activate my sword, but won't call it to attack.
Okay.
Just have it out.
So the sword up at your side, and you are ready to go. That brings us to Shay. Here, you can put that. Just turn this out.
Oh, yay!
I actually do have a real rapier coming, but we can use that for now.
Hey!
Nice.
That's so exciting.
I know! I'm like, oh my god!
Jump off the Steeder and make my way up to help Brenna.
All right. You get off the Steeder, but almost before your foot can touch the bricks, you are already 10 feet forward, then 30, and then you just immediately appear almost before, it's like almost before Brenna finishes recoiling from the strike, you are there. Go ahead and, if you would like, make your attack rolls.
Yeah.
25.
25 hits.
She might go that way. You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, you could go that way. You could go
I gotta
up.
keep you on your toes. That's 13 damage.
13 damage. Shay, as you rush forwards with the momentum built up behind you, swing and hit the very last piece holding the skeleton together. As it begins to take a step forward, one half continues to move, the other half just falls, and both fall into pieces.
From here, is it obvious which other bodies are beginning to move?
As you look around with your passive perception, you definitely can see the one immediately in front of you on the map, and then the two underneath the Oakville mini seem to be moving. Yes, Hannah, could you just leave that lying down for just a little bit?
Fine.
Run over and stomp on him.
Okay.
27?
27 certainly hits. Matt, can you put this prone in that position? I feel like it's about to get curb stomped.
This one here?
Yeah. You can see this little guy, leather armor, still clutching some kind of a weapon, but yeah, flat on his face.
It's 13 damage.
13 damage. He is just laying there, and you can see the arm. And then you just go over and stomp on his back. You feel the spine crush. It twists in a way that would make this person never walk again. But you can see, almost independent of the upper body, the legs begin to shift and move as well. It certainly hurt, however.
And I'm gonna hit it again. For 28.
28 hits.
9.
All right. The second stomp, you get almost like right up where the shoulder blade is, and it straight off. The arm clatters on the ground. You see like each finger begin to crawl away from the hand. It's still up.
That's it for me for attacks. I'm just gonna take a small, like, 10-foot shift to the left.
Okay,
Get
you
away
do
from
so.
Brenna a little bit.
Just in case she gets the hunger.
And that is your turn.
Spread out.
So,
Give her some space.
that brings us to these creatures. Shay, you especially notice
There's so many that he has a box.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
the one that is in front of Shay is going to stand up. If you could add this one to the one that is lying down in the doorway. The three that are kind of sprawled out at the bar area over there, if you could add these three in. This here. That one. There are two that are on top of each other to the left and behind of Brenna. Those are going to be standing up.
Here?
No. So to the left. And, sorry, yeah,
left.
my left.
Yeah.
Gee willikers.
2, 3, 4. There are 4 more that are in that structure.
Oh, jeez.
So put those guys there standing up.
Dropped a couple.
I know.
Guess we don't have
Not those.
No,
So it is
in here,
these
guys.
guys, those 4 guys.
Oh,
The interior of Brenna, in your rage, as you look around, you realize you are in what is essentially a residential neighborhood. You sort of take a moment and focus in, and you see what is sort of like an apartment building, essentially, off and pretty much straight ahead. To your right, there is sort of like a tavern or bar. But you see in all of these buildings, these dark shapes begin to move and twist and rise up. You smell this burning smell of ozone, and you recognize somewhere nearby a member of the choir gome must be nearby. And the fact that they are doing this to all of you is very confusing. But they stand. So, Shay, all the ones that are at that bar come lumbering out the front door. They're going to be able to get within, or they can move 25 feet. No, the ones north, yeah. There's an open side door. They're going to move 25 feet or as far as they can get, and if they move 25 or less, they can attack. The ones that are in the center building need to go out that corner door towards the spider. They're going to come out and immediately rush towards Brenna in the back. There we are.
All of them?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Here.
You look real tasty. All right.
It's so small.
So,
You're their
Barely-
size.
yeah.
It's fine.
Shay, you're going to be taking attacks from 3 of them.
Okay.
Can we get that there circle thing?
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna need that. Thank you.
Template.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case.
You know.
It feels like it's gonna come in handy.
We'll see. Alrighty, so that is going to be a 26,
Yeah, that'll hit.
a 20, I can do math, a 22,
Yes, that hits.
and then a 14.
That will miss.
Alrighty. Shay, in total, as they lumber forward, you're able to maneuver, but they move in such an unpredictable way. You fought undead before. This is different. You are going to be taking a total between the two of 16 points of bludgeoning damage, or sorry, not bludgeoning damage, of slashing damage.
What are they attacking with?
It's kind of a variety of things, but to average it out, it's going to be basically slashing or piercing. There's 3 that have piercing. Because Oakfeld is not immediately involved in this fight, I haven't been keeping a ton of track of that, but I would say slashing for sake of ease.
Is it like an actual weapon, or is it
Yes, yes. Certainly weapons.
So the last one that misses,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my reaction to attempt to disarm it.
There you go.
Nice.
What's the DC of that save?
It's a say my sleight of hand versus their athletics or acrobatics, their choice.
Oh,
Not gonna bother rolling.
what was that?
22.
You literally disarm this creature. The thing is, so as you move, you expect them to move on their feet, but it's almost like they're being tugged on strings. And so they drift up and move in ways that defy what an undexterous creature like a skeleton should be able to do. And so they hit you from strange angles. But even as they do, you adjust, shift, pivot, move around one of your feet, and then are able to jam up one of your knees into the ribs. The ribs shatter in such a way that they twist into the upper part of its shoulder, and it no longer seems to be able to move that arm. The weapon drops helplessly to the ground, clatters. That is those 3. Brenna. The one in front of you, you could take off the board. The bones stop twitching and seem to roll away. You turn looking for other targets, and there are plenty. Were any of them able to get to you with 25 feet of movement?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this one is 1 square away, so no.
Ah, okay. So if you can, move them all into base contact with you, because they're going to take a full action to move. This is a horde of undead that are chasing down the street, and most horrifying to you, even through this haze of rage, it's not as if you recognize them in the state that they're in, but the clothing is familiar. Everything about them is familiar in a nostalgic way. But that is their turn, and that is going to bring us to. Whoops, that is the wrong initiative. That is going to bring us to Akka, way at the end.
Like, moment. I look up and like,
Big enough?
so I'm on the Steeder. Does the Steeder have its own movement?
The Steeder, the way that these rented rides are going to work is they're not really going to willingly get involved in combat. You can make them.
Okay, well, I'm just seeing, can I use it to move closer around this way?
I see what you're saying. Does it have its own movement that you
Yeah.
can use? No.
Okay. So that's two full.
What are you doing?
All right. I guess. Well, I can't ride the Steeder in anyway.
You can. You would use the Steeders Movement.
Okay, but then I wouldn't have my own movement.
Correct.
Okay. What is the Steeders movement?
45 feet.
45 feet. I
believe so.
Okay. Now we're talking. Math.
You do recognize that at some point
okay.
they're going to get some attacks of opportunity here.
I'm gonna kick the Steeder into gear
Okay.
to go the full movement of it.
Yeah, you kick it, and there's this.
There, I believe. And then lightning bolt.
Okay.
That diagonal.
Oof,
Okay.
great
So
choice.
that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is that 6?
I would say if this guy is here, that's probably 6.
Yeah, he's there.
Like,
Okay.
if he gets hit being prone or prostrate.
What I'm asking is the guy is it 7? Because then I see that there are.
Oh, I don't think it would be this one.
Okay,
I think it
your
would be
perspective is
1,
better than mine
2,
from over there,
3,
so-
4, 5, 6.
So
Okay,
not
6
these three,
dexterity
but- or
saving
not these
throws.
four.
And what is the DC on that?
18.
18. Oh, guys. They have to roll more than 18. Okay. There are 2 cocked dice out of that. That's amazing. Okay, 1 succeeds.
Wow.
Yeah, out of all of them, one of the cocked dice, it was one of those that Drew made for me.
Nice.
Go ahead. So, yeah, roll damage.
All right. I gotta grab all my d8s now. Oh, I gotta
Once
dip
again,
into the
the
bag.
skeletons meet their end via lightning bolt.
Lightning Bolt's a great spell for skeletons. It's a great spell for masses.
All right. 1. All right, I'm gonna do 2 handfuls of rolls here because I'm struggling to find the die. Okay, that's 11.
They roll so weird on the template.
Math, that's pretty good. Math is 10, 13, 35?
35 points of damage. Okay, so one of them is only taking 17 points of damage. Real strong are they. However, Shay, the one that is at your feet that has not yet risen, just smoked. You can see as this huge, leave him on the battlefield, but as this huge bolt of lightning streaks across, there is this, as like all of them are struck through, many of them exploding into just powdered elements of like ashy, charred skin, and then just blackened bone. As they fall, you can take 5 of those guys and just lean them right down. Leave them where they are.
Any in particular that aren't?
The only one that isn't is the one furthest, like right, yeah, that one right in front of Shay, just because that makes things, that is logically.
That one too, or no?
No,
one
not that
wasn't
guy.
him.
That one didn't get it.
So all of those guys, just bam, 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 bam. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. As the smoke clears, you just see rattling bones in this huge pile. And they do seem to tremble and move with some intention.
I'm gonna then summon as my bonus action my Echo Knight, like right here.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have them?
I should in the pile of random bullshit over here.
If you don't, you could use this temporary echo.
What happened to? Okay.
That is your turn.
Yes, that is.
Brings us to the top of the initiative order. Brenna. Around you, you see just bones moving and rattling. You see a few of these creatures still up.
Have I clocked that they can that they might get back up
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. All right. So Brenna normally finds the voice of the axe dragon very unpleasant and disconcerting, but she's in her rage, and so when he was like, yes, Brenna, that really sparked something in her, yes, dragon, let's fuck him up. So Brenna is gonna look just kind of at this pile of bones, and telepathically to the dragon she's gonna be like, let's do this, and then she's gonna cast Flame Strike using the axe. So it's got 10-foot radius, and I'm just gonna try to get as many of these boys as I can.
So pretty much all of them around you,
Yeah.
and all of them on the ground except for maybe that one that's furthest out.
I think it's everyone here. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, everyone down, not this one.
Yeah. So not
That's
Shay and not the
amazing.
Echo.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a great placement.
8 of them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't hit you either?
Not in that configuration.
Dang, that is a sweet placement. Okay, yeah. So go ahead, roll damage. They have
All right. It's a dex saving throw.
How many of them is it?
So is it this one? I'm sorry, I'm losing track. It's 8, right?
Yeah, I think
These 4 and those 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, I will roll 4 and 4. Oh no, I have 5. What is the DC?
That's a really good question. I'm not.
Lower than 18, I'm hoping? Because it didn't do great on that.
I don't know what it should. Can someone help me figure out what it should be? Because I'm not a normal.
What is your What is the
I think wisdom.
barbarian's
It's
map for flame strike?
well, with my wild magic DC is 17. So
17,
would it
okay.
be that then?
Yeah.
All right, DC 17, Dex saving
pretty
throw.
It's much better than I was hoping for.
Well, it's good. That's the wild magic, especially. You get to use your con instead of the.
Yeah.
4d6 fire damage and 4d6 radiant damage.
Okay, slightly better. 2 succeeded.
All right, so we'll do fire
Not
damage
like bad
first.
rolls either.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 fire damage and 12 radiant damage for the ones who are taking full, and then half for the ones who succeed.
The radiant damage in particular seems to do more damage than it should as this strikes across this huge gout of flame. First of all, Brenna, as you tell the axe, let's fuck these guys up, and you swing the axe forward and you see almost a spectral head of this dragon, and in the back of your mind you hear, yes, Brenna, teamwork! And in this moment there is this little point of light that appears in the bricks of the street, and then suddenly this huge gout of flame, brilliant and white, emerges from the ground as a pillar. And you see, how much damage is that? It was 12 radiant and...
I think, was it 13 fire?
Sounds
Sounds right,
right.
yes.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
13 fire and 12 radiant, which is actually
that is occurring.
24 radiant, and 13 is so in that little circle. Every skeleton that was on the ground rattling back together as this smoke clears is off the map. You see charred remains, just clumps of ash, and here and there still a surviving bone. The one that was up in that area, down, certainly dead, but you see the charred bones and the flaming elements of what garments they wear still sort of
They're still
beginning to shiver and move.
Oh yeah.
Not enough to destroy it outright, but the other ones certainly. So,
Brenna is feeling friendlier toward the axe now than she ever has before.
There you go,
New
yeah.
best friend.
yeah, you said teamwork last session. He was listening. So, that is your turn, Brenna.
That's my turn.
That brings us to you.
Actually, wait, I'm
Eleanor.
sorry. Can I've had one thing that
Sure.
So, the smell of sulfur, that means that I know that one of the choir gum is nearby. Can I pinpoint a direction-ish?
As an action, you would need to make a perception check
Okay.
for that, but certainly you can try.
Okay, next time.
So, that is your turn. That brings us to Eleanor. Shay, you are on deck.
Okay, so for diagonals, is it normal for the first one and then 10 for the second one? that how that works?
For diagonals, yeah. So it's alternating. I think it's 10-5.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that means I need to take my bonus action dash on top of my movement
Okay.
to get to here, which is still not quite close enough to see much, but it's still fine. I can still hit the standing skeleton in front of Shay.
You can. They're going to benefit from like 3/4 cover from that angle, but yeah, you certainly can.
Okay. So, because I use my bonus action, I'm going to huck one of the daggers instead.
Okay.
I can still use that on my action. And I'm going to guess it's probably a no, judging by that number. So let me just...
Depends what it is.
Oh, wait, no, maybe. That's a 19.
A 19 hits.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so that is pretty low damage. Keep forgetting to pull out D4s for these guys. Ta-da.
Do you need D4s?
No, I got it. I just forgot to pull it out. So that's a total of 7 piercing damage
7 piercing damage. Okay.
from a magical source.
And this is the one that has already taken a little bit of damage from Shay. And so what you see is you throw this little knife. It vanishes into the darkness out of the range. You see it disappear in the swirl of clothing this individual is wearing. And then suddenly, almost like this robe deflates, falls to the ground. The bones still rattle underneath the cloth. But you can lean that guy over. The one in the robe. Yeah, in the witch hat.
I'm just gonna pretend they are actually wearing a witch hat.
They're wearing whatever the corpse, like, this is 1-to-1 scale with the corpses. There are 41 corpses on there, I'll tell you that right now. So, yeah. That being said, anything else, Eleanor?
That is movement, bonus action, and so I'm good.
Alrighty. Shay, you see suddenly around you, you have to duck and shield your eyes. The vision from this magical mask almost whiting out with the intensity of this explosion next to you. It is hot. It smells foul as flesh burns, but as it clears, you have many fewer opponents.
Wonderful. And a quick glance over. First bonus action, Ace.
Okay.
Quick glance over the one that Brenna looks like she's going to hit next is taking a guiding bolt
There you go.
Nice.
for 23.
23 hits. Ooh, man, that's a lot of damage. Even low-level guiding bolt.
Guiding bolt is so good.
Oh, yeah, it's an amazing.
Crazy spell.
I love it.
That is 16 points of radiant damage.
16 points of radiant damage. That is much more effective than you would imagine. So as you channel this life force into this magical blast, you fire. The darkness erupts into light, and this radiant burst hits the skeleton, exploding. Brenna, you about to hit this thing? Your teamwork, and then just shatters in front of you. You can lean it over on the ground.
This one?
I believe it's the one.
This one?
It's whichever one you're about to hit.
Whichever
so
one you're looking
you get to
for hit
choose.
next.
All right, this one.
But that's enough to knock any one of them
Also
over.
gives advantage to whoever hits it next.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, yeah, that still functions based on the way that the rules are written. So you see these bones rattling on the ground. They scatter amongst the others. Easy to tell which ones belong to it as they move and shift. Worth noting, Brenna, through the haze of rage, when they connect back together, it's not always with the same ones. They can still reform even when parts are destroyed. So worth noting. That being said, anything else, Shay?
Yes, I have 2 more hits, so each of these guys on the ground in front of me is getting stumped.
There you go. Make attacks at advantage. Any hit is a critical.
It's 27
Yeah, Matt, this is a monk-trained curb stomp.
for 12.
12. Okay, so it's automatically a critical. So you're doubling the dice. That would have been 18?
Plus 5 is 19.
19, pull them off the map. You see the rattling bones begin to move, and as the head rolls over and looks up at you, it hisses at you, and you stomp on it. It is obliterated.
Natural 20.
You can go ahead and pull the other one off as well. That one begins to like assemble itself, and you drag your foot through the pavement so hard.
Oh, the two
That I already grabbed.
Yeah.
The elements, it's almost like this gust of wind is created, and you shift bones like down the street. They scatter so far apart, you can't tell if they're rattling anymore, but it functionally doesn't matter. They scatter to the corners of this map. That is your turn?
That is my turn. I'm going to end
right.
it there.
That is going to bring us to these creatures. So first of all, there's only one that's left from that original group. So sad.
Womp womp.
Oh, that's cocked.
I don't like that you don't actually sound sad.
You can pull that one off the map. You can see unable to return. This is the one laying down. Yeah.
Boop-a-doo.
However, can I see that template, please?
Oh no.
Ow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like that placement.
Where are all those corpses at? Pass me some skeletons, please.
I'm guessing you need 4 or 5. 5, 6.
Where I figure. Yeah. Man.
I was just about to go back to my book, thinking like, oh yeah,
We got this
we got this
handled.
covered. It's fine. Only a couple left. Fuck.
The Steeders.
Oh, probably got it.
You hear behind, hello, friends. This Oakfell just kind of trying to talk to these people.
That was the club voice. I was like, what?
No. I just forgot what Oakfell sounded like for a second.
That is kind of a deeper glove.
Yeah, deep club. These skeletons all rise up, and suddenly the street on the other side now full. Give me just one moment. As they are going to begin to move, the two that are in the corner of that burned out room, yep, they're going to move over to Oakfeld along with the other two that are near him.
This one?
Yep, it has to go out through that corner door. Yeah. The other 3 are going to go to Akka as much
Did you
as they
say this
can.
one is moving towards
Yeah, that one's going to Oakfeld as well. The other 3 over there are going to go to Akka.
Up on my Steeder.
1, 2.
This one too?
Yeah,
Because I did not get off of my Steeder.
that's true. That means that they could hit the Steeder or you.
Oh no.
So, the one that is still standing up in the door in the very north is going to go towards Shay. And before
Meanwhile, Eleanor.
I know, I picked like the perfect direction to stay away from everything.
Have we given Eleanor's last combat series?
yeah, I feel like you're still not really like sure. Like, is my health really back all the way? Like, there's a certain element to that experience that I feel like you really don't.
Yeah, I'll forever be fragile to myself.
So,
Forever fragile.
weirdly, as these creatures move towards you, though they do have the speed, they don't attack. But
I don't like that. I don't like this either. Go sit down, please. I don't like when you get near the table.
Shays and Akka. The two of you are very aware of the fact that on the ground, suddenly, between your legs, you see a dark line appear along the ground. It stretches far. It seems to move almost across this entire map. Suddenly, you feel as if it splits open, though you see no movement, but you feel as if gravity begins to pull you in that direction. And I need both of you to go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. I'm going to roll for the Steeder, but yes.
We promised to bring these guys back in one piece.
Is this a magical effect?
This is certainly a magical effect.
Okay.
Also, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of the skeletons.
Alright, I gotta put some of these back in the bag and actually roll
Once
on that.
they rolled so well for that. One succeeded.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so Shay,
22.
22. Okay, and then Akka.
28.
Akka, you certainly succeed.
Yay.
And Shay, you succeed as well.
How's
A
Esperel
little
doing?
closer. So what?
How's Esperel doing?
Esperel, probably not great. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to use a digital roller to roll these dice.
Can I roll for Esperel?
Roll what?
The con save for my.
I rolled it.
You already did.
Yeah, I got a 9.
Oh, fuck it. Oh,
Shay and Akka, you take a total of 36 points of force damage, and
Is that already halved, or is that?
no, sorry, that is not already halved. So that is halved to 17, I believe.
Yeah, 17.
That is force damage, and you feel this force yank you as hard as you can.
Do I get pulled through Esperel?
You do not move, but you feel this movement, and as the line becomes almost real, there is this loud gravity yanks everything in. You see these little elements of bricks, the scattered bones that have already stopped moving, everything in this 100-foot line yanked 10 feet into the middle. The three skeletons that are around you, Akka, as they're like getting ready to attack, just crushed into this line. All of them are down they're basically stacked on top of each other, 5 feet in front of Akka.
Don't love that.
Like here?
Yes.
Don't love that.
Shay, you can put the one in front of you down. They succeeded, but still died.
Perfect.
And that is their turn. That is going to bring us to Akka. What would you like to do? Brenna, you're on deck.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
That was awkward. That was Matt.
How's my Steeder doing?
Your Steeder, as you look over at the pile of bones and corpses, you see little legs twitching.
So I'm like off of Esperel.
Everybody is off of Esperel forever.
Oh no. All right.
The way that this works, and now you remember, Shay had sort of pointed out this corpse that looked like it had been crushed. Esperel, amongst other elements of the ruins, looks very similar now.
Okay, flying up. Up to like out of range. Oh, I've got one right here. Like, 35 feet or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out where did that come from? What is the source of this?
Make a perception check, sure.
Line of gravitational phenomena.
And as your mind races and you rise up into the air, you do absolutely recognize there is gravitational phenomena happening here.
That was not great. Perception was 10.
Ah, if only you had a flash of genius, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm at 10.
as you move up, there is so much happening, and now with the various little bits of light sources moving, it's hard because the shadows shift here and there too. It's hard to tell what's moving and what's not, and your eyes are constantly tugged in different directions. You don't really know.
All right. Then I am going to, as a bonus action, get my echo form to a relatively safe place. Probably also up in the air, but
Oh, get
yeah, another one. Yeah. Also up in the air.
Pass it over.
I'm gonna need a bunch of these.
Thank you.
Probably like 15 feet underneath me at 20 feet above the ground.
Okay, sure.
Like 5-10 feet behind me.
Okay, sounds good.
So I can just boop,
No problem.
a comfortable distance.
It's a
away.
grappling hook, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So, not to worry, your echo just disappears and reappears up in the air near you. That is going to bring us to Brenna at the top of the round.
All right. Did I recognize anything about this gravity spell situation that just happened in the context of smelling the sulfur in the air?
Absolutely. You know now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is a member of the choir gome who is actively trying to attack members of your party.
All right.
Also engaged in necromancy, it would seem, which is not a normal part of the repertoire.
Uncool, man.
Yeah.
That's not a good
All right.
thing to do.
What direction is the abattoir? Is it that? No.
It's a corner in this. There's no direct road to it. It would be
Okay.
straight through the apartment complex in front of you.
If I were to go straight up in the air right now, could I see straight to it?
If you can get 50 feet up, you could look over the apartment complex. Yeah.
All right.
51 feet, I guess, technically.
I can't get that far. But you know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh, that doesn't make sense. What Hannah wants to do is not a raging barbarian situation.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna hit one of the guys in front. I'm gonna hit this guy.
Do it. Hit him.
Natural 1.
No.
Guess you're not gonna hit him.
Oh
You
no.
swing forwards, and as you do, it cleaves right through this creature. But almost at once, as this pulse of dark magic fades, it seems like the elements of it that withdraw into the shadows and other nooks and crannies of this place seem to pull it back together.
I'm gonna hit it again. 18.
An 18, that hits.
That's gonna be 19 damage.
This creature, as it seals itself back together, you instead go like widthwise along the skeleton, looking to almost cut it in half. You hit hard, it moves its arm down, you cleave the arm clean off, you watch as the forearm goes scattering off into the distance, but it is still up.
All right. For my movement, I now am like pretty singularly focused on finding this asshole, these idiot magic users. So I'm gonna shoot straight up into the air as far as I can go, which is 35 feet, and start to look around to see if I can.
Okay. And so is the intention to make a perception check at your next turn?
I mean, I'd like to. Yeah, I want to get high enough so that I can.
No
so,
problem.
yeah.
So you were 35 feet up in the air. That brings us to Eleanor. Eleanor, looking around, suddenly the air force of your group is now airborne. You see skeletons beginning to rise here and there. The ones that fall apart also seem to assemble themselves again. What would you like to do?
So, Eleanor's gonna continue her path forward. So she's like roughly next to. So she actually sees something.
Sure.
And then in her mind, because she's been like on the other side of an apartment complex, there's gonna be like way more happening over here. And she gets over and is like, no one. Wildly confused.
Smoke and heat. You see like charred elements of like little white flames flickering down from Brenna's spell. You can see like there are still glowing bones on the ground from the guiding bolt, but most of everything is just rubble.
All right, so
Troy with the pizzas.
yeah, I know, just like not what I was expecting, right? So I'm gonna make an attack towards a standing skeleton to Brenna's right
Okay.
with my bonus action.
Oop,
Ooh.
not yet.
Okay, so that's 24 to hit.
24 hits.
Okay, nice. And you're no longer engaged. That's okay. So it'll be normal damage.
Normal damage.
Normal damage.
Gross.
So that's 9.
9 points damage.
Boring piercing damage.
But it's just as piercy as you intend it to be, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's true. And then can Eleanor make an intelligence check to put together that there's probably a person controlling the skeletons, or is that something that she can put together on her own without that?
I would say, given the fact that you have seen undead before and they've never really functioned in this way, you would imagine there's definitely a magical component to whatever's controlling them. A person, item, location, hard to tell.
Okay. So
There's purpose to this, yes.
yeah. Okay. Cool. So since she can't see another like person, she's gonna attack the other one and
Sure.
then next turn start like trying to figure out like what.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's gonna take a dagger, chuck it. So that is a 23 to hit,
That hits.
and that is 6. That's another 9 piercing.
Nice. That's pretty good for a little dagger. Not bad. All right. So as you throw this dagger at this creature already a little bit weakened, the dagger seems to jam between bones. It doesn't seem to do too much damage, and as this creature wheels to look at you, the dagger and returns to you. You see the leg just snap off. But still standing, kind of hopping on one, very badly injured, but anything else?
basically not an actual thing, but like, what the fuck? And that's it.
You hear it from the darkness. Shay, what would you like to do? And then these creatures go.
Moving toward where Brenna was, but curb stomping the one down at my feet before I go.
Okay, fantastic. Make an attack roll.
Using its face to
That's
push
a natural
off the
20.
ground.
Yeah. Don't even worry about it. Shay, you see this creature. You can see your companions in need of some aid. And so as you're moving, just using the force of the momentum of you running, you stomp the skull into dust. Just shatters into little bits as you move. Before it even stops moving, you are at your destination. What are you doing?
I've got 4 left. The one on the left, I'm gonna hit twice. It's 29 to hit.
29 hits.
For 7.
Okay. You hit this thing once, and as you do, bones splinter away. You can see many of them still hanging loose in the badly decayed armor that this thing wears. It is almost being held together by cloth at this point, but still up.
Second hit. 26
Roll for damage on that.
for 9.
Finally, seeing the little bit of fabric that you need, you grab it and just yank. Almost like you unravel this creature, the bones just spin apart and fall to your feet. You can knock that guy over.
Cool. The one that I hit with the guiding bolt that's on the ground
Okay.
is getting hit. That's 23.
A 23 hits.
Critical because he's on the ground.
Yeah. This is guiding bolt.
No, this is just a hit.
Just a hit?
But this is the
Yes.
one that with the
A
guiding bolt.
melee hit, against a prone opponent.
So that's 15.
15, and that's already doubled?
Yes.
Okay. With 15, the one on the ground, you see these glowing bones, too easy to hit here in the dark space. You bring your foot up and around in an axe kick and just shatter the remaining bits to pieces.
And then that last one that's standing is going to get the last hit. 28
Yeah, that hits.
for 13. And why not? He can make a Constitution saving throw.
He's actually not going. Wait, that's the one that Eleanor just hit?
Yeah.
That's not going to make a Constitution saving throw. He's actually going to splinter into additional bone fragments laying on the ground. They begin to kind of crawl and try to reassemble, but we will see if that happens.
Solid. That is my turn.
That is your turn. That brings it to these creatures' turns. So, speaking of seeing if this will happen.
Oakfeld.
He's got all the Steeders around.
What's he up to?
Yeah, I'll figure that out kind of at the end of initiative. But
He is a big tree boy.
1, 2. So there are currently 4 that are down.
We can probably assume that you would become this.
Yeah.
And fucking smoosh.
Aka, one of the ones at your feet, you see different disparate pieces of bone.
35 feet down.
I know, but still below your feet.
Okay.
Kind of snaps together. You see like 3 legs, 1 arm, not quite correct, but it kind of lifts and up at you. Probably unable to hurt you, but if you could stand one of them up, you could remove the rest that are laying down from the battlefield. None of them making this very low DC save. That being said, yeah, let's do that.
No, let's not. Unless it's like surrender and
Yeah.
As a bonus action, this creature can surrender. No. What is actually going to happen?
Bonus action, I have free action to surrender.
Pulls out my action economy is in shambles.
Okay, let's see.
no. You're getting up to the battle map
Yeah,
too
absolutely.
much.
So-
Too much.
Eleanor, you're already looking out for different things, and so even through the din of battle, you hear tick, 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 and looking down, you see a small black marble roll 10 feet in front of you, so kind of right between you and Shay. Suddenly, there is this little point of darkness that rises from the marble. There's a clear marble now sitting on the ground that cracks, and suddenly there is this expansion, and as it crushes together, please go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw, Shay and Eleanor.
What I thought it was.
I was hoping it would be dexterity, so I can just rogue my way out of it.
You know, the thing about dexterity saves is your group is great at them. And you've been facing off against an opponent who is learning from his mistakes.
26.
Okay.
7.
Shay, that is a success. That is certainly a failure. So, Shay, as the gravity intensifies behind you already in your hasted state, you are able to accelerate and move beyond. But Eleanor, for you, unable to move, kind of unsure of what this little marble at your feet is, almost instinctually as a rogue, you're like, huh, and you go to bend and pick it up. Then you see this shape drift up and you're like, huh, before when it yanks you forward. You are going to be pulled 10 feet close to that spear. So you're going to be pulled right to where the spear is.
Okay.
And you're going to be taking 5d10 force damage.
Gross. I was damaged from before. We didn't do anything, we didn't rest or anything, right? No? Okay. Just hoping to get a couple of those hit points.
Unfortunately, no. Eleanor, you are taking 23 points of force damage, which for you, Shay, is halved.
Big robot.
What is it?
It is halved to 16. No, that's wrong. Sorry. 11. As this gravity sinkhole closes in, you are crushed with these elements of brick and other bone. You feel flesh like pushed into you, and then so hard that it actually punctures, and you can feel this dead skin enter your body. But then all at once, it peels and falls away, and you stand there worse for wear. The creatures, 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are going to attack Oakfeld, and they don't need to move, so they get to take 2 attacks each. There's 4, yeah. You just want Oakfeld to die?
No.
1, 2, 3.
I just want him to have a bad time.
He's about to have not
Gonna
the
be to
greatest
hop around
time.
after all.
Okay, so
I really want to climb a tree.
I want him
Oakfeld
to
is
survive
taking-
so that I can enjoy more of his suffering.
God.
8, 13, 14.
Some serious
Why does nobody like Akka?
I know, right? Everybody's, He's always like, why doesn't anybody like me? It's because you're mean to everybody.
He doesn't. He's just thinking it up there. He's like,
So you see the
doesn't
skeletons
want to
descend upon Oakfeld and attack him again and again. The one that is by you, Akka, can't do anything, but it's just going to sit there, like reaching up towards you with these claws. The 2 that are at your feet, Shay, one of them is going to get up. Only one of them is going to get up. So one of those skeletons rises to its feet, pulling elements of brick into it and incorporating not quite entirely bone. You see where the arm should be, there are like burnt and charred planks that have sort of become part of this creature. But it begins to lumber forward, and it is going to take 2 attacks against you. They're both going to miss. I'm not even going to ask because that is embarrassing. That is...
Use my reaction to disarm him.
Yeah, go ahead, make your reaction. That's even worse.
For a... I can't math. 23?
A 23. That is against their... I don't even know.
Athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Athletic. Oh, actually, that was 23? Mm-hmm. So for once, as you go to grab this thing, almost instinctually, you go to disarm it, your arm lashes out and you try to take this short elbow. You cut the arm clean off with the strike. It moves forwards and is attempting to bite you. No real weapons in there, so it doesn't quite succeed at disarming it, but absolutely great hit. Anything else? Oh, sorry, that's reactions on their attacks. That is their turn. That brings us to Akka.
Okay. Seeing that this is not going anywhere very productive, gonna cast haste on myself and gonna get even higher up and try to find where the source of this is.
Okay, make a perception check.
It's fine, guys. The rest of us have it.
Looking around.
With your special
There it
magical
is.
eyes.
Natural 20.
Of course. Akka, your beautiful elven eyes open in the darkness. Somewhere in another world, a saxophone begins to play. And as you peer into this space, you look at the ground and you see the ruins have had their debris yanked into a straight 100-foot line. When you look where you stood, where Shay was all along, you see a line that leads you straight to that building that is to the left of, yes, right into that room. Almost straight into where there at one point was a door, but now you can see a bunch of piled furniture.
Okay. I'm gonna fly over there with my movement, which is doubled, because, how tall is this building? Do I have to go around it?
You are how far up?
70 feet up.
It's a 50-foot tall building.
Okay,
right
so
over
50
it, no
feet.
problem.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
These are gnomes, so like even a 3-story building, not super,
I figured
super
I
high.
could probably. So, with the rest of my movement now hasted, that gets me. Here-ish, I think. Right? Because
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
35 up, doubled it, and then got the other half of the movement, another 35 that way. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doubling it, that makes sense.
Math.
Right. And then bonus action.
This shadow
I
appears.
guess 30 feet in front of me
Okay.
at the ground, I guess. Down here.
Along the hypotenuse.
Yeah, along the hypotenuse. Because this is the door
Yeah.
to get into the building that I'm about to try and find the source of.
Yep.
Alright.
Anything else?
That's double action movement bonus action. I'm good.
There we go. That is going to bring us to
My turn. Never
the
mind.
top of the round and Brenna. Eleanor, you're on deck.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go 16 more feet up in the air.
Nice.
And
And then your head just
and I would like to make a perception check,
Go ahead.
please. 24.
with the 24, your eyes follow the same path that Akka's did. You see him looking around, and you look as well. You see in just a brief moment, these eyes. How could you not? Then, following this path, you can see it leads to this building, and sure enough, almost barricaded in the door. You see furniture all slid in front of it. The source seems to be there.
All right, so I'm gonna follow Akka, slightly annoyed in the back of my mind that he's doing everything I want to do, but a turn before me.
In the back of your mind, you hear, "You could eat him, Brenna."
Not now, not now. All right, so let's see. So I went 15 feet up, so now I can go 20 more feet that way,
Yes.
right? Yeah, all right, so
If you abuse the
1, 2,
hypotenuse,
3. I think that gets me about here.
Yeah.
probably squeak out an extra 5 feet or so.
Anyhow.
That's my turn.
Alrighty, that is Brenna's turn. Eleanor, you now have your friends flying about in front of you. Shay, essentially flying also. What do you want to do?
Alan's gonna kind of try to reorient herself after being crushed forward. Noticing everyone heading towards that way, probably assuming something important is happening that way.
Sure.
She's gonna turn around, and do I notice like the stacked furniture?
Roll a 20-sided die.
18.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You look over, you see this clump of like a table that's been overturned. You see several other things that have been slid. There is no door on the frame. You can see like scraps of wood hanging from the hinge, but it has been blockaded, and you would imagine probably where the source of this is.
Okay. Is there like an open window or anything I can see?
You can see there is a window, but through the glass, one of the very few windows actually that's unbroken, also flat wood, perhaps a table, and you would imagine more furniture beyond.
Okay. So, put all that together and be like, okay, clearly I'm going to wait for one of them to solve that problem. So, I use my bonus action then to attack the next standing skeleton in front of Shay.
Alrighty. You watch as it assembles itself from the ground in front of Shay.
Alright, 18.
18 hits.
Okay, nice. And since it's in melee combat with my ally, sneak it. Oh, God. Just throw that to the ground.
Yeah.
Attack damage. Okay, so that's all of the math in the world. Math. You think?
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's too bad the undead didn't like cover the snort, you know?
God, just so embarrassing that I snorted with laughter on the D&D live stream that I'm participating in. God, now everyone's gonna think
What
I'm
a
a nerd.
Okay. 41, which is probably overkill.
41. Not only is that overkill, so as you send this bonus action attack towards the skeleton, you see it like slices through. It falls apart even as it assembles together, but you see the bones continue to build on top of each other. But this sword seems to almost like turn around. This is your rapier, right?
Yep.
And then you see it like end over end swings, and basically like a vertically aligned lawnmower just cuts this thing in half. Many of the bones like sawn clean through. Returns back, and this thing is dead and off the map. You do not need to lay it down.
Yay, it's a standing one.
Standing.
Great work.
Join your friends. All right, and then I'm gonna turn around, face the barricaded area, take out a dagger, and hold my action until I can see an opponent.
Okay, not a problem. You hold your action until you see an opponent. Shay, what would you like to do?
This one that's on the ground, he didn't get up, did he?
No, he's actually pulled out.
Okay.
So right now there was one that was shaking its fist at Akka, and you can see like slowly now, especially with you in your hasted form, slowly turning around to face you. And then you look down and you can also see Oakfeld is being mobbed by these creatures.
We're going mock,
Gonna go clock this one that was tracking Akka first, and then we'll go help Oakville.
There you go, make an attack roll. If you can move Shay up to this creature.
Oh, there's
27
creature.
27, yeah, that hits.
for 11,
11 points of damage.
and then 27 for 9,
9, all right.
and then keep moving, and whatever the closest one is getting the next 3.
Alrighty. So you run over this skeleton. Your first kick landing on its right shoulder, your second one on the left, and then you use that momentum to springboard off the rest of the way.
21,
That hits.
7,
7 points of damage, okay.
23
23 hits.
for 8.
Oh my gosh, math this evening.
Math is very hard
Alrighty.
this evening. 27 again
27 again.
for 12.
12. So with that, sliding in front of the sort of a little bit injured Oakfeld, the first undead you just eviscerate with your fists. Moving so quickly, it's almost like you hit it each time, and then they register, and it kind of like hits again and again and falls apart on the ground. Thank you very much. Anything else, Shay?
That's it.
All right, that is going to bring us to this creature's, or all of these creatures' turns. Can I see that template, please?
God dang nabbit.
Yeah, we're kind of grouped, guys.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm 51 feet up in the air.
That's not what they're trying to do.
Raise more.
That one is too crumbled into a ball to revive.
Damn.
You can actually see like the little arms sticking out of there.
No, I noticed this one guy that's over on the toilet, and I feel like that was a really sad way to go.
Oh no.
Then you can actually see the axe handle still sticking
doing
out
what he
of it.
loved.
You did. So, if you were to look really closely, you can actually probably tell the exact story of how this invasion occurred. I put a lot of clues in because I'm detail oriented.
Isn't it really fun just like looking at all the corpses on this side? Just like,
Okay.
Guys got toasted.
So first of all, Shay, as you're rounding the corner, you see a massive movement as bodies rise beyond Oakfeld down the street.
Yay.
However, they are going to take their full movement and rush in the direction of Akka, though they can't reach him in his current space. All of those to their closest route. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So,
Are they also using their action?
Oh yeah.
Oh no. I knew it. That feeling in my soul.
so your echo is right here in this square.
In the doorway, like
So
right there.
Okay. That's different. Okay, Brenna. As you, Akka, and Eleanor all sort of turn, and you get the sense, kind of thinking the same thing, you, with a little bit of anger towards Akka in the back of your mind, you
Akka.
feel all of a sudden this intensity. There is the ozone smell sharpen and sharpen and sharpen. And in the back of your mind, you just think lightning. And suddenly, from within this building, a bolt of lightning explodes out, targeting only you. Please make a dexterity saving throw.
Can I see this effect?
Man, I'm trying to remember how that...
Fast.
It is, and it's coming from a point that you cannot see, but certainly you can see the lightning streak towards you. What is the
Advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects I can see.
I would say yes, you get advantage on that.
All right. So that's going to be 21.
21. Alrighty. Where are my d8s? Alright. Brenna, I have one. You are going to be taking only 8 points of force damage.
That's my temp HP.
However, your speed is halved. Just mark that down somewhere.
That's not a normal lightning bolt.
That is not a normal lightning bolt. Additionally, oh no, that's it. Okay, great. That's all. That is going to bring us to the next person who I have my initiative here.
I've taken damage, so I would like to use Unstable Backlash to roll on the wild magic table, please.
Go for it. Yeah, try to get that blink.
Nope. Ooh, this is so much better. All right. I have a magic throwable light evil demon axe.
Amazing.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
On top of the other one?
No.
no, this
My axe has
is
become.
now glowing with a magical
My axe
aura
has
of-
become a light magic throwable weapon. That
Yeah, this is one of the best
like,
parts about wild
mechanically,
magic.
it
yes.
reappears in my hand after at the end of the turn in which I
That's
throw it.
great.
Yes, it's very cool.
The best.
All right, so that was your reaction. That was these creatures. That brings us to Akka.
Seeing the lightning bolt that just shot out of the doorway I was about to enter, are there any other is this a one floor building or three?
No, so actually this apartment complex is a 3-story building. There are other sort of rooms and things with shattered windows. You see glass kind of all falling inward in this area.
So having gone by the hypotenuse, would I be at the 3rd or 2nd floor, and are there windows?
You'd be right at the top of the 3rd floor.
Is there,
How high up are you? You're
now I'm about 35.
35 feet, so you're at the top of the 2nd floor.
Okay. Is there an entrance that's not the door that just had lightning come out of it?
On the 2nd floor?
2nd or 3rd?
Yeah, many. I mean, there are broken windows everywhere.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna fly through the window up above.
Sure.
While simultaneously having my echo form enter through the door to try and catch whatever's in here unawares.
Okay, so worth noting, that door covered with furniture. Are you able to move the echo to a place that you cannot see?
Yes, if it's 30 feet, more than 30 feet away from me at the end of my turn, it disappears.
Okay, so it just appears somewhere in the building.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can still somewhere over here.
Ah.
Anything in there?
Are you able to perceive through it without using an action?
Perceive through?
The shadow?
The echo.
The echo?
I'm
Sorry.
not perceiving through.
So you're just looking with your eyes on the 2nd floor.
Well, yeah. I guess, yeah. I come in on the 2nd floor.
Yes.
Nothing in the second floor?
You float through the second floor.
Because I still have a bunch of movement.
There is a small bedroom that you enter. You can see there is like charred furniture. It looks like there was a fire that began somewhere from beyond the hall. You can see, because the walls are in such bad shape in here, like lots of fire damage, there is a staircase beyond, sort of just out of, down each of those 2 hallways that disappear off the map. There's a staircase 20 feet beyond there.
Cool. So no immediate point of entry to get
Not from directly
down.
above, no.
Okay. I'm gonna use my bonus action to swap places with my echo form.
Okay, look at that. So, all of a sudden, you appear in this dark, very clean space. In a moment, you are hasted, correct?
Yes.
So as you turn and look behind you, all this furniture has been shoved very tightly and neatly packed up against the door. You don't see signs of debris along the ground, but what you do see, for you especially, is a familiar-looking small figure. Purple-skinned. You see elements through the purple, gray and fleshy, almost like dead gnomish flesh. But if you want to go ahead and place this creature
Cool.
up against the little barricade to the window to your left. And you can see one of these other side, your left, the way that you're facing. Sorry, literally in that box underneath your echo. Yeah, in glass.
Which is probably gonna disappear.
You see one of these dark eyes, like peering through a smoking hole that the lightning bolt made. Certainly coming from this creature.
Okay. Cool. Gonna fucking go to town on this guy. Smack him up a bit. I believe I have my actions left, so I'm gonna just hit him a bunch.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit him a bunch.
So go ahead, move yourself into base contact with him.
Alright. And, let's see. So, I think I'm gonna actually use my second action to use a second bonus action to re-manifest my echo form.
Sorry, you're using a second action to use a bonus action?
Yes,
How?
with my haste.
Right, it gives you an extra action, not an extra bonus action.
Right, but I can
it's an
use-
action or a bonus action?
Well, it's an action, so I can use my action to do a bonus action, right?
No.
Use it as
You can't interchange, and that's why I can only use the rapier in my
yeah.
bonus actions.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm not.
Sorry, bud.
If you could, that would be great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not
Then in
interchangeable.
that case, I'm just gonna hit him a bunch.
There you go, hit him a bunch.
So let's see.
Fists of Fury.
First attack.
Fists of Fury. The Artificer's Fists of Fury, famously.
Yep.
First one is 21.
A 21? Okay, hang on one sec. You move in to hit it using this integrated weapon in your arm, I'm assuming. And as you swing forward, it's about to hit dead in the center of this small creature. You see the tentacles, and suddenly, very familiar to you, the psionic barrier appears. Your weapon stops short, and you cannot thrust beyond.
Okay. Then I'm gonna try to smack him again
Go for it. Make another attack roll.
because it's still part of the action. That's gonna be 26 to hit.
26 hits.
Okay, cool. So that's one attack. 10 slashing, magical piercing.
10 magical piercing. Alrighty.
And then I'm gonna make my third attack with my second action.
Okay. Now you're using it appropriately.
Yes.
Like a checklist of like,
That's probably gonna miss. That's 16.
Yeah. That 16 as you swing, the psionic force seems to catch it again.
And then I guess I will use the rest of my movement, which should be about 15 feet, to just take a little bit of space from this guy.
Okay.
to kind of clear myself.
And with haste, you don't provoke attacks of opportunity. Actually, uses reaction. So, anything else?
That's about it. And my echo form presumably disappears now because it's 30 feet away, or more than 30 feet away.
Disappears.
Unless it's not. I don't know
It will
how
be.
high up the floor is.
That brings us
Hypotenuse.
to the top of the order. Brenna, you are up. Eleanor, you are on deck.
All right, I'm just my movement's halved. That really puts a damper on things. I'm gonna use my movement plus action to just do a beeline, like basically just where the lightning came. That's
Sure,
where I'm
absolutely.
flying. I'm gonna get as close as I can.
You look across the battlefield. In the back of your mind, you hear, Brenna, there! Your head almost involuntarily jerks, and you look directly through this tiny hole, and you can see this action within. Go ahead, you can move.
All right, so let's see. This is like 35-ish feet, so
Hypotenusely.
God. What do we think? Let's ballpark. Let's ballpark it. I get inside or like up to the hole, do we think? Or
I think you get it 5 feet inside.
5 feet inside. All right. By this point, shall we say I'm like close enough to the ground? Or
You,
am I
you
still up in the
basically
air?
have to be on the ground to get into the ruins of the doorway.
All right. Do I recognize the person? What's going on?
So immediately upon looking, just as a cursory glance, it is this gross-looking, illithid-like creature, although about your size. Perhaps maybe a little bit small. Make a perception check.
Is this the same as the one at the place where I died the first time?
Certainly is. Very similar.
That's what I
Very
thought.
similar.
So it's not a gnome.
Right, but
What was your check?
18.
With an 18 at the moment, no. But as it shifts and moves, and you catch this brief bit of movement along the torso and arms, you see patches of decaying gnomish skin. At one point, perhaps, hard to tell if it's still alive. You see actual pale skin, so maybe still, but most of it consumed and now turned to this squid-like creature that floats along the ground.
All right. With my free action, I'm going to go, hey.
As you do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. That's my
Anything else?
turn.
Fair enough. That is your free action. That brings us to Eleanor.
Yes, before my turn starts, can I use that held action to throw a dagger at the skeleton that is approached from the left?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, right. Skeletons.
Yeah, they're still there.
I don't care.
Man, I am rolling lots of ones on my damage, which I need to roll attack first. All right, that's 21.
A 21 hits.
Okay, and then that was a grand total of 7.
7. Hey, there you go.
7 for a dagger.
Yeah, the dagger.
The dagger is great.
Yeah.
It's more just every time I roll my d4, I'm rolling like a 1. So it could be better.
And so right through the knee of this creature, and you can see the patella bone and the other elements around the
Nice use of
fossa.
patella.
Huh?
Nice use
Thank
of
you.
patella.
I have a degree in biology. Yeah, I did all this stuff. So yeah, the knee bone just snaps off, and you can see it reconnects, but just a little shorter on one side.
Okay, now on my actual turn, I've been assuming that the daggers have been coming back successfully, like
Yes,
nothing's
yes, yes,
interrupted
yes.
that. Okay, cool. Because if not, that would have been my third dagger. So want to double check. I'm gonna use seeing that everyone's crowded in the doorway, and I'm probably not getting in without Kool-Aid manning it. I'm just gonna use bonus action and action to attack the close skeleton.
There you go.
From your same spot. With
Yeah,
your
I'm not
sword.
moving. Okay, that's probably a miss. So the bonus action was going to be a 12.
12 misses.
And then another dagger is not much better. So that's a 14.
A 14 misses as well.
Jesus.
This rapier out and into the darkness and hits dead in the center of this creature, and you can see the sternum carved in half. As it falls to the ground, more bones assemble, and no longer any kind of chest cavity, but you see 3 skulls stacked on top of each other, 1 arm remaining. It is this leaning creature still up.
So after cursing to herself, she is going to back up Just because there's a lot of them coming this way. And I can't get in. So I'm just gonna get to be about there.
There you go.
So I can still see what's going on. I can see what's going on. But hopefully out of immediate danger.
You run back, your feet carrying you across broken bones and bits of rubble, but you get to a relative safety as much as you can in this situation. That is your turn, Eleanor. That brings us to Shay.
Curb stomp the one in front of me.
There you go. This is a fight of curb stomping for you.
It is. That's 25.
25 hits.
For 21 damage.
21 points of damage. Yeah. This creature already on the ground as you deal an automatic critical hit. You kick it straight in the spine and it snaps in half. You see the rib cage crumble, the legs still kicking for a second before they too fall to bits, and you can pull them off the board.
Nice.
And we're just gonna work our way through.
He's just on cleanup duty.
I feel like this happens a lot. I feel kind of bad, actually.
Yeah.
27.
27 hits.
When you're the one who can be like,
13.
13 damage.
I feel like everyone just like gets so tunnel
Late to the
focused.
strike.
Dirty
and then
20.
Jay's just like, we still have
Okay,
like
that
other
hits.
shit going on, guys.
For 11.
11.
He's more
Nice.
of a cut off the head kind of guy.
27.
27 hits.
I think Brenna recognizes that as her
For
key
7.
role is to keep the big guy busy.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been very successful.
And 28.
28 hits.
For 6.
6. So, still standing is this one. You're knocking bones off of it. It's like actually barely a skeleton at this point, just a pile of rubble and bone, but still up.
Okay.
That is your turn. That brings us to this creature. You can see Akka and Brenna. Yeah, let's do
No
that.
way to say Brenna now.
Could we not do that?
We could, but the options are really just bad and worse.
I will
So
take the bad.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the bad.
I'll take the bad, but just make sure it happens to Akka.
Can you put the template? Well, actually, I'll just do it. 'Cause I'm not checking. Oh no! I would do that.
So I moved. No!
Yeah, look at that.
Dang it!
Not enough.
Eleanor's getting Cloud of Death flashbacks for no reason.
Oh, that was horrible.
So, Akka, suddenly, in this tiny little space, the creature turns to you. You see this tiny bit of purple blood dripping down the same color skin. The tentacles, and suddenly the eyes shift, and for a second they become darker and more soulless. And in the back of your mind, you feel this kind of picking sensation. If your lobes were individual muscles, it's as if they are cramping individually. In the back of your mind, you hear, "You will always fail. Always." Suddenly, you look down, and there's this tiny black marble at your feet. Akka, Brenna, Eleanor, if you could all make Constitution saving throws, please.
Magic.
This is certainly magic, yes.
Oh my god.
I got a 15.
Okay, that is a fail.
I got a 14.
That is also a fail, believe it or not.
Damn.
Shock of all shocks.
Partners in failure.
Damn, I got a
I
16.
rolled very
Okay,
poorly.
that is a failure as well.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Question.
Yes.
With this qualifier for Uncanny Dodge,
He did
Can I
say I
see
would
it?
always
But
fail.
Uncanny Dodge is a dexterity
is it
save?
only is it one attacker you can see? Oh, I can't see the attacker, but when an attacker sees you, hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to have the attacks damage again.
So if you could see it, yes. However, you cannot.
Can't see it, yeah. That's what
So,
I figured. Figured I'd ask just in
In
case.
total, all of you fail.
Jesus.
Eleanor, Akka, and Brenna, you are taking a total of 42 points of force damage, and you are pulled in a straight line towards this space right there. Through the wall. 10 feet, yes, actually. The wall crumbles around you as it pulls you. There's a much wider space, and Eleanor, as you are yanked backwards after already being like shunted forwards, you turn almost exasperated and angry, and you can see you are now like crunched together with all of your friends.
The flash of genius.
You have
You
one
even
left.
mentioned it. I just assumed you didn't have it more.
No, I have some, but I'm not going to
You
use
should only have 2 left, I believe.
Have some.
Just
I think
laying
that's
around.
probably
No big
right.
deal.
Let's see.
So that is that creature's action.
Oh no, I don't.
The skeletons, the 3 that are up, or sorry, all of the ones that are kind of up by your sword, Eleanor, are going to take their full movement to try to close in around your group now. The one that is standing over that dead Steeder that is barely hanging on is going to totter over, bones falling away from it. So that samurai-looking one,
Yep,
that one's going to move now towards Akka, or towards you, actually, I guess technically. It's going to move 50 feet, its full movement, if it can get to you. And then the other ones all down that street are running towards Akka.
Does your sword get attacks of opportunity?
No.
It does not. The sword doesn't stay there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it returns.
It's more just to look cool.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, only 2 of them are going to be getting attacks. And that's 1 attack each. So Akka,
I had a hard time getting out of the building.
that is a natural 20, which is a little unicorn on this dice, and a 19.
For a total of.
For a total of, that's a great question, 27.
Ooh, that just gets
That is unfortunate.
my haste.
So with that, I mean, it's not a tremendous amount of damage.
It's 20 points.
You take no. You take 10 points of slashing damage as the skeleton reaches out, and you take the strongest hit you have from any of these creatures, but still not a terrible amount. Ouch! The ones that are around Oakfeld, you can see, are still very much concentrating on him.
Is he big tree now?
No, he's basically just serving to soak damage for the rest of you for this fight because he's not here.
Thanks, bud.
Only one of those is going to hit.
I imagine he's just like trying to keep the Steeders calm.
They're not doing a lot, so he's taken 19 points of damage through this whole fight from like 3 or 4 of them surrounding
Paying
him.
attention. I'm just like, there, it's okay.
You seem mad. I don't know why I'm going to glove for Oakfeld. Anyhow, that is their turn. That brings us to Akka. Akka, what would you like to do? Suddenly, you are pulled out of the building through the wall. There's still rubble in your hair going into your armor, but what do you want to do?
Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and re-summon my. Well, first I'm gonna move. Fuck
Okay.
all these guys. I'm going back in.
So that's going to provoke attacks of opportunity. No, you're hasted.
Four of
Hasted.
them. Oh,
hasted.
It doesn't negate attacks of
It
opportunity.
just gives me more AC. So that
Gotcha.
they get
Okay.
their attacks.
Still getting attacks.
Still
Lovely,
getting
lovely,
attacks.
lovely.
Maybe it's
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of them. Okay, that is going to be a 26.
Ooh, just got me.
The other ones are certainly not going to with a 16 and a 14. And the last one is going to be a 23?
Nope.
Okay, so only one. You are taking a nasty 8 points of slashing damage.
Slash my face.
Get away.
All right, and then manifest echo as my bonus action. Can I get it like behind this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. This is like a weird shadowy creature, so it looks strange, but suddenly from this stone wall, it's like this shadow peels itself out.
Right. And then I'm gonna use my 2 actions to fuck it up multiple times at advantage. I didn't want to use that one anyway. First one's gonna be 27.
A 27, that is going to hit.
All right, I'll just go ahead and roll the others. That's 30
30.
and third.
What kind of damage is that?
It's all gonna be magical piercing.
Magical piercing. Okay, great.
But I'm also gonna end up using something else that's gonna do more.
So
against
before you do
force.
that, you see these eyes, dark as they are, flare to life, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Magical?
Yes.
14.
14, that is going to be a failure. As the eyes flare to life, Akka, you are taking 20 points of fire damage.
Damn.
You've seen Heinrich do this before. This is Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
That was a serious hellish rebuke.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, you can upcast it, and you get an additional d10 for each level upcast from level 1. Ooh, yeah.
So now, final attack, and then I'll do the damage.
Go for it.
That one's gonna be 27.
27 hits.
Okay. So then let me math out this math. No.
Math out this math.
Boop-ba-ba, scoop-ba-ba-doo-ba. Where's all my dice? I keep losing my dice. There's. Okay. Scoop-ba-ba-doo-ba-bow.
What's happening over there?
Math.
It's a ska band.
That's a
So
math.
that's 30 magical piercing. And then I'm also gonna use one of my unleash incantations on each of those attack actions to make an additional melee attack from my my Echo Form's position.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those two attacks,
So it's whenever you take the attack action, you can make one additional melee attack.
and I have used two attack
So you take two.
actions.
Gotcha.
First one's gonna be a 27.
That hits.
The second one is gonna be a 19.
That misses.
Alright, and final damage on that. Ooh. It's gonna be 13 magical slashing still.
There you go. 13 magical slashing. Even as this
piercing,
creature
rather.
flare, either way, their eyes flare to life and you take this fire damage, you still slash through. You hit it again and again, and this small, putrid, fleshy body begins to almost fall apart. And as this purple skin peels away, you see a gnomish body underneath. As you cut through tentacles and elements, you see suddenly human teeth or humanoid teeth from the bottom. And you just see this humanoid or gnomish tongue just slough out. But these eyes, back and dark. Anything else?
That is it.
All right. At the end of your turn, in the back of your mind, you can hear, "If you succeed, what will you do? Come straight to me."
Ignoring this poop face.
That is what you hear, and that brings us to the top of the round. Brenna, it is your turn.
All right. I am of a singular mind right now, so I'm going to move as far as I can into the room and then throw my axe at.
No problem, yeah. You can kind of like shove your way, tiny ball of hate, through these skeletons and make your way right next to Akka.
Still with that movement. And yeah, I'm just again, I'm not having a good time with like teaming up with the axe right now. So I'm gonna be like, "You ready?" And I'm just gonna.
Sure. Make an attack roll.
I believe it's at advantage. Oh no, because you're throwing it, so you're not melee attacking with it.
Correct.
You would have advantage for flanking, because my Echo Form.
Well, I can't get far enough to actually hit him. So that's gonna be a 16.
A 16 is a miss.
Damn it.
You throw this axe, and you just almost like it goes about 15 feet and then right back into your hands. And you hear, "Brenna, let's do it together."
Okay. That's all I can
There
do.
you
So.
go. That is your turn. That brings us to Eleanor. Eleanor, from outside of this space, you kind of stagger forwards, having been pulled back and forth. There are skeletons gathered around you. What do you want to do?
So at this point, there's like blood coming out Eleanor's ears just from the being smacked around so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
She's not looking too hot, so she's gonna turn to Samurai Guy, which is the one that's like the most injured, yeah. And she's
Yeah, very, very badly hurt.
yeah. Okay. So, being that he's that probably makes the most sense. I'm just gonna stab him with my dagger. That is a 25 to hit.
That hits.
That is, that's 8 damage.
8 damage?
Yeah.
You can see, like, around the corner, it comes wobbling. The spinal column is just, like, mismatched bones. You see, like, this, what looks like maybe curtains strung up together to hold this thing up together. And as it rounds the corner, it stretches. You see an area where you can cut this fabric, and the bones just scatter. You can lean it down on the ground.
And then making an escape route, I'm just gonna fucking go. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then another 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, I'm like fucking booking it.
Bye.
Limping slightly, you make your way down these now abandoned streets, but you see a horde of undead around Oakfeld and Shay.
I'm out of here. Oh.
Yeah, basically, it's like, God, Jesus.
So that is your turn, Eleanor. That brings us to you, Shay.
Continuing cleanup duty.
Shay is going to reduce the number of skeletons at the end of the road.
28 to hit. For 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage, all right.
18 to hit.
18 hits.
For 10.
10. The first one, you're doing this to the same one or to different ones?
Same one. I'm just making my way through.
Gotcha. Okay. So the one that is between you and Oakfeld, closest to you, Alana, yeah, you can knock them down. You watch as Shay from where you are, you watch as Shay just shatters one, just into bones.
Cool. One on the ground is getting extra hit. That's a 28 to hit.
28 hits.
And that's 15 points.
So that one that fell to the ground, you can see Shay moves so quickly, it's almost a blur of white fabric and these glowing blue scars or tattoos. And you see, continuing with a kick, it generates almost this of wind. The bones are scattered so far apart, you can remove that skeleton from the board.
And then I got 2 more, just whichever the next closest one is.
Sure, yeah.
25.
25 hits. This one's already badly hurt.
For 9.
9. This one as well, as it kind of staggers towards Oakfeld. Oakfeld already having hit it once, you shatter the area that is already damaged. It falls into pieces within the armor, but seems to kind of struggle to try to stay back.
It's a 27 to hit that one again.
27 hits.
For another 15.
You reach down and you find the 2 areas that hold the armor together, and lifting this entire bag of bones essentially by these straps, you fling it over one of these 50 feet tall structures. You just watch as it disappears into the distance. Nice. Anything else? There you go, Shay. Shay just removing mobs from the board. That brings us to this creature's turn.
No.
Eleanor. From the left, you
still in
hear bones begin to rattle. Where's that template at?
I think it's gone.
Oh no.
We frisbeed it.
So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. So this guy and those 3 are going to come back. The other ones have all died or are currently roaming around. But as you're like, okay, abandoned street, you see, oh my god, horde of undead at the end. Shay annihilates most of them. You're like, maybe I can breathe. And then suddenly, from the room, 3 different skeletons rise up. They come charging out towards you. And I believe all 3 are in range where they're going to be able to hit you.
Is this a door? They can go that way?
Yes, they can. It's the door now. The skeleton that has armor on it is going to move towards Shay, because that is the one that is closest to him.
The last 2 need to make their full action.
Yeah, they do. There's 2 that are going to get attacks there, and I believe the one on Shay as well. So Shay, that first one is going to be a 17 to hit.
That is a miss.
Eleanor, the 2 that attack you, that is a 17 to hit.
That's a hit.
That is a hit, and a 10 to hit.
Okay, so the 10's no, so I'm going to use my reaction to boost my AC by 5.
Okay. So that one that did hit you, it lunges forwards with this kind of chipped and almost ruined short sword. you bend backwards, and this is a Matrix-style move where the sword goes straight over top. You can see like the ruined elements of blade, the pits and corrosion as it right by you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. That is
Use my reaction to disarm the one that swung at me.
make an attack.
Nice.
That is a 21.
21. That hits.
He is disarmed.
Literally disarmed. You watch Shay, as soon as that one sort of comes in and begins its attack, Shay just rips one of the arms off and it falls to the ground. The ones that are over closer to this party, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, they're kind of bottlenecked. So they're going to push in so that there are 2 in base contact with Brenna. The rest are kind of stuck until the other ones die. But Brenna, you are taking attacks from 2 of them.
Bring it.
That is not great. That is going to be an 18.
Is the down
Yes, an 18 hits.
Okay, and a 15. Or sorry, yeah, a 15.
15 does not hit.
Okay, what?
Is the downed one getting up?
Hang on one second. You are going to take 10 points of slashing damage as it hits you with one of its mightiest blows. The one that is on the ground is absolutely going to get up, and this one you see almost leap to its feet.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you imagined you would say. And it's going to turn around and charge towards Eleanor,
You son of a bitch.
but cannot make an attack this turn. The creature on the inside of this
Blacken,
space,
Yeah.
out of 6th,
Move this guy out of the way. He would. This is
Out
my
of
sword,
5th.
so.
Okay.
How does this keep happening?
Average for what?
She said, how does this keep happening?
Because you keep running to
from
places where they haven't been raised yet, so you're almost like forming a perfect track for this thing. All right, so this creature turns towards you, Akka. Where's that template?
Oh, keep that template out of here.
30 feet cone. This is only 15 foot cone. Wow. Okay.
30 is too many.
30
You
is
don't need
huge.
30.
That's too much of a cone.
That does not quite get to you,
Oh,
Eleanor.
thank Christ.
But it is going to hit all of those skeletons and Akka and Brenna.
But not.
Not your shadow. So, if I could have you please make Constitution saving throws.
Magical Constitution saving throws?
Swapping out
These
the
are
dice
magical
here.
Constitution saving throws, yes.
18 for Brenna.
Natural 20.
Very nice. 18 for Brenna. Both of you, as you've seen this magic work before, you can see this creature wheels around with this small little shard of something in their hands. Dark, almost like a marble. But this time they take it, put it between their hands, and crush it. And you see the darkness squirm like tentacles from between the hands. And as they unleash it, there is a huge burst, a 30-foot cone of force energy. You see the wall that was crumbling around the door blown completely away. Bones fly down the street from where you are. All of this, even up to the wall right in front of you, is pushed forward. Bricks go whizzing by you. You have to like bend down as part of you like bent over the sword over top. Other debris is flying by you in the other direction. This is just chaos for you right now. All of the skeletons need to make saves as well. Then I'll do damage. There are 5 of them.
And this one is like shedding a little jewel bit.
Okay. Yeah, so those are from the Candy Factory fight that they had. You could go ahead and take 3 of those skeletons and move them
Off of the board.
15 feet towards Eleanor, essentially. They'll collide with that gnome statue if they need to. But they get crunched in there. And then
Crotch.
These 2.
Akka and Brenna, the 2 of you are taking 13 points of force damage halved to 6. The other creatures all down there, the skeletons are taking 13 full points, which means 2 of the 3 that got knocked and pulled towards the street are down. One of them, the mummy one, the one that's kind of closest to the door, is going to stay up.
Does that get? Oh no, it's force damage.
Yeah.
Stupid.
These other two
Stupid barbarian.
didn't get pushed back and aren't down.
No, but you can see like missing parts, missing bones, pretty badly hurt from that blast. That is that creature's turn. But both of you managed to stand through, which is quite unfortunate for this creature. That brings us to you, Akka.
Smacking the shit out of this thing. Fuck this guy. Yeah, I'm just wailing on him.
Yeah, do it.
First attack is going to be a 22 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
Second attack.
You sure?
This time, third time's the charm. 25 to hit.
25 hits.
And, well, that's my first attack action, so I'll
Yeah.
do the damage first. So I'm going to use another unleash thing.
Sure.
Whatever
Make a
the fuck
dexterity
it's called.
saving throw once you've rolled the damage for the first attack.
Okay. Including the attack from the unleash incantation.
No, so this
Incarnation.
is before the very first attack, or like after the very first attack.
All right, then that's going to be 20 points of magical slash.
Very nice.
Magical piercing. And then a dex save.
Yes.
Magical dex save.
Yes.
17.
That is a failure. You take 16 points of fire damage as the eyes flare to life, but significantly less energy. You would imagine whatever amount of magic they've used so far, pretty substantial. They're kind of beginning to run out of spell slots.
They're running out of PP.
Okay. Then I'm going to use my unleash incarnation
Okay,
attack.
there you go.
That's going to be a 25.
25 hits.
That's going to be another 11 points of magical piercing.
Akka, tell us how it happens.
Just wailing on this thing. Me and my echo form. Back and forth. And yeah, just gonna like I kind of stab it in the front, and then as I'm pulling out the sword, the echo form goes like in from the other side through the same spot.
Fantastic. So, just in and out. You hit this once as yourself, and then again as your echo form. And for you, from like a cinematic standpoint, Akka, you are like switching places with your echo form and hitting it yourself each time. So the echo form never actually attacking, but it's just you hit it, and as it spins, you are already on the other side, striking it again. As you slash it at first, you cut off elements of the tentacles, and then the upper jaw, no more humanoid teeth, just this gaping, sucking mouth. You can see like a throat of a humanoid creature, but it falls kind of onto its heels, rocking back for just a moment. The tentacle that is left just kind of up and then down to the ground. Almost. Right before it hits, you can see it seems to freeze. And for you, Eleanor, all these skeletons, as they begin to crumble apart, also freeze. The bones almost defying gravity.
Oh no.
In this moment, all around the battlefield, for all of you, Shay, Oakfeld, everybody, the remaining skeletons all turn in unison towards each of you that is within sight range. And you hear in the back of your minds this voice
Face.
just speaking. You are already too late. You have no armies, and I have everything. And then suddenly, these bones scatter, almost like shrapnel. And the creature that you see, the skin, peels off the bones, like sloughing off in strips, before just a gnomish skeleton remains. And then those bones, too, fall apart. And you are all out of initiative order.
Damn.
So I'd like to state for the record, Brenna has persistent rage now, and she is not going to drop her rage, because that means she would have to feel other feelings, so she is continuing to rage
How long can you hold the rage for?
indefinitely until
dope.
I choose to drop it or I'm knocked unconscious.
Persistently.
Yes, persistently. Thank you, level 15 barbarian.
So, excuse me.
Can we take like a really fast break?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just
It is 9:23. So thank you for sticking with us. Very long combat. 2 nights in a row, actually.
double long.
I kind of figured that was going to happen as I was designing this map. I was like, oh my God, it's going to take a long time. But we're going to step away for a quick break. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will be back. It is to 9:23. We will be back at 9:33 to finish out this session with just a little bit more of Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see you then. Howdy, folks. Welcome back as Matt joins us. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us for Adventures in Alberon. We are back from our break. We do only have a brief period of time left, but we are going to continue. If you are just joining us, this group has vanquished a large force of undead that continue to reassemble themselves from broken bones and surge onwards until you are able to locate the source. This strange, bent-over, gnome-sized creature that floated through the air, tendrils, mind flare-like, drifting along the ground. After a pretty fierce battle, you were able to slay this foe. The rest of the skeletons fell dead after delivering a unified message from Zeistries. And now as the dust settles, Eleanor, 4 corpses at the same time just slump into you. What would you all like to do? The little bits of like burning flames kind of crackle on stone,
Where
but otherwise
is this
quiet.
building that we're heading towards?
Beyond this apartment complex, and then a little bit off into the east, you can see you're roughly halfway there.
Cool. I still have haste up, so I'm going.
Yeah.
I guess I also have haste.
Brenna's still raging, and Brenna's just going. Don't
So
care.
you guys at this
follow,
point are just
not
gonna
follow,
start
don't
running.
care.
I love it.
Well, I think I would probably, having beaten this thing, come outside, and then if I see Shay running somewhere, I'm gonna see what Shay is looking to run towards.
Sure. You
I'm
follow.
also making a beeline, although Shay probably quickly overtakes me.
Yeah, like doesn't overtake. Even starting behind you, Shay starts ahead of you. That's like Shay's fast. You rush through this town center, moving through, and very quickly, Shay, you pass everybody. You leave everybody behind. And you travel through the streets, seeing corpses scattered throughout, the damage becoming worse. And then all at once, as you near this building, there are no corpses. The damage still just as severe. You see burned out houses. Make a perception check.
24.
With a 24, you do see signs, footprints. Putting together the elements of impression, stopping for a second, like the dust by you, your momentum kind of carrying forward. You look and examine what remains, and you can see it looks as if other creatures move through here. You see the marks, certainly of Steeders, but also some of these seem to have been dragged away, and others just got up and walked on their own. But all of these tracks head towards the staircase that you now approach. Looking up at the very top, this staircase winds about 110 feet, this almost cyclone-like earthen structure going up the front, almost like a skirt that splits. The staircase moves up. And you can see there are these wooden barricades that have already been pushed into place, little spikes coming out. There's a gap between them about 5 feet wide. You see movement up there. Certainly others waiting.
Okay. I imagine haste ends pretty close to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop and wait.
Okay. With Akka running, you're still flying, sorry. You're still waiting about 8 rounds for him to catch up.
I still have. I'm hasted, so I get like 100-something feet a turn.
When Shay is hasted, Shay moves something like a quarter mile a turn.
That's amazing.
600 feet
It's just under the speed of sound. I think we
600
calculated
feet,
that.
like as one.
in 6 seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's like
If
6
I'm devoting
times
all of
faster.
my
Yes.
action economy,
Much
but
faster.
A little under 6 times faster.
And that's just with a move action. That's not like, you know.
Are they special or?
So,
all of my action economy to movement, I think I can get to 600.
yeah. So,
5 times.
much faster. It takes you all a moment to catch up to Shay, and at this point, when you do, you miss the entire part where she has to recover. There is a calm and composed monk as you await this mote of whiteness in the dark and the soot and the stone.
And then I recover.
And then Akka starts sucking air. But one thing that all of you notice now, kind of looking around for a source of danger, there is literally none, not a corpse to be found.
Why were you running?
We gotta get this party moving.
Brenna just whenever she catches up with them, she just strides right past, no words, no nothing.
No problem.
Feeling pretty confident that the abattoir is the right place to go. So
Okay. You make your way forward through the ruined husks of buildings, crossing the last 100 feet up into these stairs. Off to your right, what is the east, you can see maybe 200 feet away the lapping water of the dark salt expanse, filtered safely into this bay. But these stairs rise up, so you begin to climb them.
Going with Brenna.
You begin to climb as well.
Guess this is the way we're going.
Me and Oakville to bring up the rear. After maneuvering myself back onto.
oh, you chose to get back on.
I chose. Listen, I now am emotionally compromised watching one of them be crushed, and
fair.
so and after being covered in corpses, I'm like the spider. Good choice, you know. We bury the hatchet a little bit. I'm gonna request Oakville to help me a little bit,
Sure.
because I am too close to dying for my own comfort. So I'm hoping by the time we finally catch up, Steeders in tow, with the rest of the group, I'll be a little bit less broken.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, eventually. And then I guess seeing everyone has already gone inside, be like, oh, Jesus,
Nice,
fuck.
Aw,
So
I think Brenna
you,
left hers behind.
Oakville,
Really thinking.
and 4 Steeders make your way. I will say, you will have to wait for a moment as Oakfell comes across not only the fallen Steeder of Akka and stops to perform some rites. Also, there's this other dead one that is on the ground. He will stop and do the same thing for that. In total, if you would like, you can take a short rest. It's about 10 minutes. Or sorry, not a short rest. It's only about 10 minutes.
Okay.
But it's still adding a substantial amount of time to your journey if you choose to wait with Oakfeld and the spiders. Because every time he stops, they stop, and all of them kind of bend down, and it's like this little service is happening. You hear, all of us go to the arms of the wild mother at some time. And, you know, there's just this whole thing that happens. Are you waiting for him?
Ella, yeah, she's gonna be like, I can't. Even if I jogged, it would still. Okay. And then she's just gonna like put her like hands on her knees and just kind of breathe and just be like, all right.
No problem. You react to Oakfeld as many do. You take some time. So you guys will catch up in a second. The rest of you climb these steps. Give me one moment.
A new map. Hope you're all ready to stay till 2 a.m.
Would you like some visual perspective?
No, I mean, yes, actually, but no, you're good. You're good.
More maps, more maps.
I feel bad that I need to get up now.
Tiny, and I don't know
These fucking gummy bears. They're dangerous.
They're so good. Oh, they're insane.
That's why I didn't start.
Are you eating the jelly bears?
Yeah, you want some? Please?
No, I'm okay. They're
Please? Please? This thing's awake.
Choices were made here.
They're so good, but they're so... You gotta feel it.
They're a very nice texture.
No, I didn't have time to actually cut out a semicircle, so I drew one.
There you go.
But this is what you see. Can you center that a tiny bit more towards the, yeah. You got it. So,
Barrel.
you can see in this sort of space, looking up, there are these wooden sort of barricades that have been erected. You can see shifting shapes still at the base of the staircase. They're small, bigger than gnomes. And you've seen these creatures before, a few of them trading. These are Duragar, although the way they move is unnatural, in ways kind of similar to the skeletons, although they are certainly still alive. You see there is warmth to this gray skin. You see suddenly crawling the wall next to it, one of these Steeders, and atop them another Duragar. But still maybe 80 feet above, and they haven't seen you quite yet. Are you all just approaching at speed, or are you trying to do something different?
Brenna's just walking straight up. Ready to cut a bitch.
Probably.
Still raging.
You hear in the back of your mind as you begin to walk, you can see like just red closing in around you, and you can hear, "Good, Brenna. We are strong, Brenna, and I smell fresh meat above. But Brenna, there is something rotten nearby. Be careful.
Noted.
You begin to walk. The rest of you just striding up these steps?
I'm gonna take a second, be like, whoa, just going right in. Okay, I'm gonna take my second wind.
Sounds like a plan. So you begin to climb up these stairs. Up above, as you get closer, you see stalactites, you think. But as you get closer, hanging over this element of porch, you can see these are actual crystals of salt that dangled down from the porch. Above, there are these kind of mounds and chunks of rock crystal that have broken off. There are scattered bits of bone, and you see in the powdered form of the salt that kind of scatters across the steps, excuse me, that scatters across the steps. You see footprints, you see elements of things that have been dragged up, as if an army has almost moved up these steps. But because it is 9:45 and we cannot get into a combat right at the end of the session, because we will literally be here till midnight, we're going to end a little early for the evening, and we will pick back up as you, in 2 weeks, as you make your way into the Abattoir of Salt. But for all of you, you survived a relatively intense combat. So good job. Thank you all for tuning in to this session of Adventures in Alberon. Next week, as a reminder, we will not be playing our regularly scheduled 120th session, but we will instead be playing a one-shot that is run by Kara. This is a horror-themed one-shot with some Lovecraftian overtones. So in ways, this sets us up quite nicely. But until then, it is just a little chaotic, so stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. And Brenna, if you would like to, Brenna. Hannah is your name. If you would like to go ahead and close us out here.
It is chaotic out there, friends, but at least you didn't have to just fight 48 zombie skeletons. So let's all be grateful for what we have. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
Bye.